Did you know you can spend a whole week at a Caribbean all-inclusive resort, unlimited food, drinks, and alcohol for less than a weekend in Miami? In this video, I'll rank the most popular all-inclusive destinations in the Caribbean from cheapest to most expensive, and for each one, I'll tell you who it's best for and who might want to avoid it. These islands are surprisingly different, so choosing the right one for your travel style can make or break your trip. So let's start with the very cheapest, Cuba's resort area of Varadero. Americans can skip ahead because travel here is still restricted, but for Canadians and Europeans, this is a favorite. Many come back year after year because the beach hotels are shockingly cheap, especially when you combine them with a flight from Canada. We're talking packages that work out to around $125 per night for 2 people, all inclusive. The resorts themselves aren't as polished as what you'll find in Punta Cana or Cancun, but if you're after pure value, this is tough to beat. It's best for budget-minded families or anyone who just wants sun and sand on the cheap. Not so great if you're looking for luxury or a buzzing social scene. Puerto Plata was actually the original all-inclusive hub in the Dominican Republic long before Punta Cana took over. These days it feels a bit past its prime, more like a faded seaside resort town. Out of its 14 all-inclusives, only one hit an 8.0 review score, and of course that is the priciest of the bunch. Still, the cheapest good resort I found was about $171 per night for 2 in high season, so it can be a bargain if you don't mind the slightly rough around the edges vibe. Puerto Plata works if you're a budget-focused traveler who wants a simple, low-cost all-inclusive and doesn't care much about polish. But if you're picky about food quality, service, or modern facilities, you'll probably be happier spending a bit more in Punta Cana instead. And don't worry, from here on out, it's smooth sailing with some really impressive resorts on the way. Now before we get too deep, keep in mind there are 3 different spots in the Cancun area. Cancun itself, Playa del Carmen, and Cozumel. Each one feels very different, so it's worth paying attention. Cozumel is an actual island just off the coast, and that gives it a slower, more relaxed vibe. It has its own airport, but many people just fly into Cancun, shuttle to Playa del Carmen, and then hop the ferry across. Resorts here are smaller and quieter than in Cancun, and once the cruise passengers leave, the island gets very mellow. That makes it ideal for couples, divers, and anyone who likes the idea of being on an island without the chaos of Playa's 5th Avenue. The cheapest well-reviewed all-inclusive resorts here start at around $229 per night in high season, which is a solid value considering meals, alcohol, and beach access are all included. But if you're a group of singles looking for nightlife and mega clubs, you'll definitely be happier in Cancun or Playa del Carmen. By the way, the clips I'm showing in this video are all from the cheapest well-reviewed all-inclusive resort in each destination. They honestly look pretty great, but just keep in mind that you can usually spend a bit more and get something even fancier if you want. The sky's the limit. Alright, let's keep it going. Next up is number 4, Cancun itself. For most travelers, Cancun is the gateway to the Caribbean. It's almost always the shortest and cheapest flight from the US or Canada, which makes it a smart choice if your vacation time is limited. You can fly in, check into your resort, and be on the beach with a cocktail in hand within hours. Cancun's hotel zone is packed with massive all-inclusive resorts lined up along the beach. Some have east-facing views of the sunrise, while others sit on the south-facing stretch of the L-shaped peninsula. If nightlife is on your list, stay near Punta Cancun at the bend of the L. That's where you'll find the mega clubs and the wildest parties. High season rates start at around $231 per night for 2 people, all meals, drinks, and entertainment included. That makes Cancun one of the best value options, especially if you want both easy access and plenty of action. Just be aware that it can feel touristy and busy, so couples seeking quiet or families wanting space to spread out may prefer Playa del Carmen or even Cozumel. By the way, if you're enjoying this, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Alright, let's get back to it. Montego Bay has long been the hub for Jamaica's all-inclusive resorts and still offers some surprisingly good deals. In fact, I was shocked to find a well-reviewed option in high season at just $240 per night for 2 people. Prices here had been creeping up, so it's encouraging to see that solid bargains remain. The Montego Bay area includes Ocho Rios to the east and Negril to the west, so when you search, you'll usually see dozens of resorts spread across northern Jamaica. Altogether, there are over 50 all-inclusive properties, including 7 sandals resorts. Those are definitely worth considering if you want the premium service. That said, Montego Bay itself can be a bit underwhelming. the hip strip, which is supposed to be the nightlife district, often feels more hype than substance. Still, if you want variety, competitive prices, and the convenience of being just minutes from the international airport, Montego Bay is a solid choice. Playa del Carmen is a different world compared to Cancun. Instead of endless mega resorts, Playa has a mix of large beachfront all-inclusives and smaller properties that are literally steps from the famous Fifth Avenue, a pedestrian strip packed with restaurants, shops, and bars. Prices in high season start at around $247 per night for two, which is only slightly more than Cancun, but the vibe here is much more social. This is easily the best choice in the Caribbean for solo travelers or groups of single friends who want to meet people. Honestly, in Playa, socializing is inevitable. The town is compact, walkable, and full of life day and night. For couples and families, the beachfront resorts still deliver all the typical all-inclusive perks, but the real magic is in that easy blend of beach relaxation and buzzing local culture right outside the gates. If you want more than just a week inside a resort bubble, Playa del Carmen is the clear winner. Next up is Punta Cana, the Caribbean's ultimate vacation factory. You've got 80 plus all-inclusive resorts lined up along the beach, most of them enormous complexes with multiple pools, restaurants, and nightly shows. For this list, I chose the Occidental Punta Cana, part of the Barcelo group, at around $260 per night in high season. That makes it the priciest of the big value destinations here, but it's still hard to beat when you factor in the beach, the food, the drinks, and the entertainment all included. Punta Cana is especially good for families with kids since many resorts have kids clubs, water parks, and even mini discos. It's also excellent for big family groups because there's truly something for everyone. On the other hand, singles hoping to meet people will find it tough. The resorts are so spread out and self-contained that socializing outside your own group isn't easy. Couples can certainly enjoy a romantic stay here if they pick the right resort, but overall Punta Cana is more about scale and convenience than intimacy. St. Lucia feels completely different from the big resort hubs we've just covered. With 24 all-inclusives, including 3 sandals properties, it has plenty of choice, but the island itself is famous for its stunning scenery, those dramatic Piton peaks, lush rainforests, and postcard-worthy beaches. Prices in high season start at around $347 per night, so it's more expensive than the big Dominican and Mexican resort zones. But what you get in return is a calmer, more romantic atmosphere that's especially popular with honeymooners and couples celebrating something special. Unlike Punta Cana or Cancun, you don't have to deal with a massive airport and a bus full of strangers heading to the same mega resort. St. Lucia is smaller, more intimate, and even the larger properties feel tucked into the island's natural beauty. If your goal is a romantic Caribbean escape rather than a high-energy group trip, St. Lucia is one of the very best options and worth the extra money. By the way, these are all of the Caribbean destinations with more than 5 all-inclusive resorts. A few of the smaller islands have 1 or 2, but those tend to be pricey boutique places, so they don't really fit this list. Antigua is all about beaches, literally 365 of them, one for every day of the year. With around 14 all-inclusives to choose from, the island strikes a nice balance. Plenty of options, but not so many that it feels overwhelming or commercialized. High season rates start at around $356 per night, which makes it pricier than the big resort hubs, but still accessible compared to Barbados or Aruba. And what you're paying for is atmosphere, smaller properties, gentler crowds, and an island that feels more personal. Antigua is especially popular with couples, honeymooners, and anyone looking for a romantic Caribbean escape that's quieter than St. Lucia, but just as charming. The beaches here are gorgeous, and you're never far from a stretch of sand you can call your own for the afternoon. If you'd rather relax in peace than party until dawn, Antigua is a fantastic choice. Barbados sits in the Eastern Caribbean and offers a very different vibe from the resort hubs. There are about 14 all-inclusives, but most visitors are drawn to the island's lively hotel districts, especially in the south near the St. Lawrence Gap. That stretch is famous for its beach clubs, rum shops, and nightlife, making it one of the most social Caribbean destinations for travelers who like to mix and mingle. High season all-inclusive rates start at around $484 per night, so it's definitely pricier than the DR or Mexico, but you're paying for atmosphere and energy. Barbados blends that feeling of a classic beach escape with a buzzing local culture. It's easy to meet both locals and other travelers here. This island works especially well for younger couples and social groups who want more than just a hotel buffet and a pool bar. If you're looking for a balance of beaches, nightlife, and authentic island culture, Barbados is one of the strongest choices in the Caribbean. Aruba stands out for a couple of reasons. It's one of the few Caribbean islands outside of the hurricane belt, and it's known for steady sunshine and a dry climate year-round. That reliability makes it especially popular for winter travelers who don't want to gamble on rain. There are only about 8 all-inclusive resorts on the island, and the cheapest well-rated ones start at around $683 per night, noticeably higher than most of the Caribbean. The limited supply keeps prices up, and most of the resorts lean toward the upscale side. Aruba is also well regarded for diving and snorkeling with easy shore access and clear waters. And unlike many Caribbean destinations, it has a cosmopolitan vibe thanks to a mix of Dutch heritage and international tourism. This isn't the spot for budget travelers or backpackers, but it's a great choice for couples and families who want predictably great weather, safe and polished resorts, and a bit of variety off the beach. If you don't mind paying a premium, Aruba is one of the safest bets for a low-stress Caribbean holiday. So that's the list, 11 of the Caribbean's cheapest all-inclusive destinations. Which one would you pick? Let me know in the comments. I've put links in the description to the cheapest good resorts on each island, plus the full price of travel article this video is based on if you want to dive deeper. And if this was helpful, hit like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one.